In this coaching session that you're about to see, my head of sales breaks down the key sections that go into a high-ticket online group tutoring sales script. This is the exact script that we teach to our clients where they're enrolling online tutoring students for $2,000, $3,000 and more for just 12 weeks of online group tutoring. Plus, we do a full review and call breakdown for one of our clients so you can see exactly where they went wrong and exactly what they needed to do to fix this to boost their close rate. What you see in this coaching session, you'll be able to take, use in your own online tutoring business to start making more enrollments. So let's jump in. Hope you enjoyed the session.
All right, well, I'm going to come over to Zahima first. You got a question submitted, so thanks for submitting the question, and welcome to the Sales Clinic for the first time. Nice to meet you.
So mine's not a video. I've just looked at your modules and I've just gone through it, and then I'm on that part where it says create your own script. So I'm starting to write things down, and then what I'm thinking is I don't want to talk too much in this section because then I won't have time for this section. So I think sent was just a Word document with timings, like a lesson plan. So I just wanted to have a really quick, how many minutes do you, which might sound like a dumb question, but in my head, that's how it makes sense. I want to have.
I like the question. I like the question.
It just gives me.
Yeah, it's not going to be gospel, what I say, because you never know how the other person in the conversation is going to react, right? So you report pre-frame. 2 or 3 minutes.
Keep it 2 or 3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Discovery. This is the main chunk of the call. We want to be doing probably minimum 15 minutes. Minimum.
15 minutes. Okay.
15 to 20 minutes on the discovery, depending on how long your call is going to go for.
So I'm starting off, so probably 60 minutes, an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Right, so your transition is maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So we're going to recap basically these things. You could break these sections down further if you wanted to, but in terms of the pain points and goals, that is the biggest chunk. I would say maybe like 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. But this is the biggest chunk, right? Transition is about 2 minutes. Presenting the offer, unique learning methods, structured program, temp check. Ideally about 10 minutes. Okay, so most of the call is this, about 10 minutes this. The investment drops takes 30 seconds, and then you probably want to be prepared to spend 15, 20 minutes on objection handling.
20 minutes. So do leave a big chunk at the end.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because otherwise, get to the end and conversations run over and calls will run over, right? The goal is to get it all within an hour, essentially, or 45 minutes or 30 minutes, But if you schedule the time for objection handling, then you'll have it. Otherwise, you get to the end of the call and you say the investment or the tuition fees to work with us here over the next 3 months is only £1,200. That's so we can see your child finally, step up their game and do great things. And they say, okay, great. All right, can I get back to you now? And you're like, oh, well, I've got another call coming and they've only scheduled for an hour and we don't have the time there to speak with them, to help them feel more comfortable in the moment and kind of ensure that they're going to make the.
Yeah, because that's why I asked the question, because I'd like to have something there with me where it just kind of keeps my timing in check. So for example, about 45 minutes in and we've not talked about the investment, then I know I need to hurry it up.
Yeah. And I would say as well, depending how you're booking out your sales calls and what your schedule is like, just be open to them in the conversation, but be aware of the fact that, on this call, it's took me till 55 minutes to talk about the investment drop. Then I probably need to tighten up my discovery or my offer or something. Okay.
And normally, just in your experience, how long does a payment stuff take? The whole techie bit. Because I've never taken a payment online. Just how normal people take, how long they take.
It kind of depends on the person on the other end, right?
On average.
Well, if they've got their card ready and they're tech savvy, it can take a couple of minutes. If their card is in the other room and they don't know how to share screen and they're cautious about putting their card details in online and XYZ, it can take longer.
Because what you recommended on the videos was try and just get it done within the call.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Ideally, yeah. Plenty of.
So maybe leave it.
I'm going to say this, but I don't want you guys to think of this as an excuse not to objection handle, because it's not. But oftentimes I've seen tutors who've been able to send the link after the call and then get payment. Okay. But if they say, can you just send me the link and I'll think about it? Can you just send me the link and I'll do it later? Yeah, I can do. But before I do that, do you mind if I ask? We're still going to stay in conversation with them. But if you get to that point where you actually genuinely run out of time, they're all bought in, they're just struggling to find their card, it can work. The best case scenario is we get payment on the call.
Thanks, that's great help. Now I can build my whole script around it now.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Well, that's how it goes. Good luck. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just be, you know, you've kind of got those guidelines in place of how long it should kind of take, but we can run over, we can do less. The important thing is hitting the key points. What's their real problem that they can't solve? What would life be like if they did? Allow them to do. What's going to happen if they don't change? Do they love your program? 10 out of 10. These sorts of things. Happy?
Happy, thank you.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, well, shall we take a look at a sales call? Yeah, all right. Got some nods. Yeah, good. Kelly, you're in luck because no one else who has submitted a call has turned up yet. So we'll take a look at yours. What can you tell me about this one? Not sure discovery, you've said. Okay.
I can't remember which one I submitted.
Okay.
It could have been a plethora of them, actually.
Well, there's just one.
Yeah.
Neither of them have got the passcode with them, so we can't.
Oh, okay. You want me? Okay. So yeah, because it wouldn't let me submit it with the passcode at the end. It wouldn't accept the link. So
you just put it in the type form.
okay. Do you want me? Okay. Is there a name on it or anything like that? I can get the passcode.
What was that one? Yeah.
I can't remember which one I submitted, Rob, to be honest.
Moin.
Oh.
See.
Okay, MOIN. Yeah, okay. All right. Hold on a second. I'll see if I can. Okay, you can keep chatting. I'll pull up that passcode. Mhm.
All right. Well, while that's happening, has anyone got any questions, resales, or any calls they would like to take a look at? Or are you all closing at 100% close rate? How are your calls going, Anne? I'm going to call you out. Nice to see you.
Hi. I haven't had any calls this week, so I've had no shows. So I'm still struggling with that.
Okay.
So
Okay. How's the triages going then?
good. I'm getting bookings. I'm just getting lots of no shows.
Okay. But so they're feeling excited to get to the next call and things like this.
Well, I think so, but clearly not. I kind of leave the call like that, and then I'm doing I'm following what Matt said. I get straight away in the morning. I send them reminder texts. I ask them if they need the link again. I'm getting ghosted quite a lot. So it's not that I'm not getting the leads. I'm just not actually. I had 2 calls on Friday and one lasted. Who was it that was asking before about the timings? Sahima. 80 minutes, Sahima. 80 minutes. That's how long I was on call. So that is news to my ears.
Did they close?
Sorry?
Did they close?
No, because they had. This is what I need to know as well, actually. Sorry for taking up so much time, but they say, well, I've got other tutors to see. What do you say there?
When did they say it?
Right at the end. So it's like an objection.
That's an annoying time for them to have brought that up, isn't it? Rather than.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say I've pitched you and I've told you about my program. And you're saying, yep, love it. And then you say about needing to see other tutors.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Do you mind if I ask, though? Obviously, I want you to make the right decision.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask, though, a moment ago, when we talked through everything we've been mapping out here, you said you were 10 out of 10 on this process. Has that changed? No, I still feel 10 out of 10, they're going to say. Got it. So you still feel like 10 out of 10, 100% that this program we've just laid out and this learning path that we've just laid out for your son is what's going to get him the results that he needs. Okay. So what is it you're hoping to find by going and speaking to other tutors? Are you looking for something better than that? Better than 10 out of 10? Or is there something else that's coming up for you? It's going to be a tricky one to handle, but the best handle you've got for it is the fact that they've already just told you that you're 10 out of 10, your program is 10 out of 10, 100%. If we've done the temp check and then we're kind of calling them out to be in alignment with who they say they are. You said you want the rest of your child. You said this is 10 out of 10. Perfect fit. So what else are you actually looking for by going and speaking to another tutor? That would be the best we could really kind of do that. The next thing following on from that is you could do this, but it works better if they've told you this before told them the pitch. It's like, well, yeah, you probably should go and speak to some other tutors. Make sure you've got all the information. And then what we can do, we can touch base again next week when you've spoken to everyone, and then you can make an informed decision when you've got all the information. Right, so you kind of set up your follow-up call after they've spoken to everyone else.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So should I be asking then because she left it till I'd done the investment drop, and the first I heard of it was that, oh yes, that's kind of in line with other tutors.
Well, right, okay, well that was positive. I would be asking, like, maybe in the discovery, what have you tried to solve this problem?
Yeah.
Like, and if they haven't told you, they've kept it secret. If they haven't told you kind of at that point, they've kind of kept it a secret from you. So you're not looking to other tutors then, are you? And if you kind of say that, then you're kind of signaling that there's other tutors out there and doubtful if whether I'm the right person for you, essentially. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Happy-ish? I'm going to turn my room light because it's getting dark here in the go. Should be a little brighter. Good stuff. Dalton suggested because at 5:30 to 7:30, people are more apt to pick up during those times. Yeah, I need some help with finding pain points for those whose children are at grade level but getting Fs this year. Well, are they at grade level or are they getting Fs?
So a gal I was talking to yesterday, I got kind of lost because I'm so used to helping students with like 1 to 2 year gaps. And she says her child was at grade level at the start of this year, but due to the teacher and the issues at the school, he's now falling and getting Fs. So
Okay. So you're telling me then that your child was doing great. He was at grade level. And by the way, what does grade level mean on like an A to F system for me? Like is that?
No, grade level is that he's able to complete curriculum at the grade level with a C or better.
C or better. Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So got it. So you're telling me then your child was performing well at grade level, and now his grades have fallen down to an F. Okay. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I did remember that one, and she says, "Yeah, I don't like it at all. That's why I'm reaching out."
I got it. I'm glad you're reaching out. I mean, do you think it's just down to the teacher? Is there any other reason why that might be? Can maybe go there. And do you mind if I ask, like, if the child is there, I mean, or not, has your child shown any kind of, how are they feeling about it? Right? There's going to be more emotion there. And like you said, he was at grade level and he's dropped down to an F. So if nothing changes, where do you think he's going to be in another 6 months? Yep. Yeah. So you get the kind of cost of inaction there as well.
Okay.
Let's
go.
All right. Cool. Hopefully that was, that still seems like a pretty big problem. Like if they're at that level and they've gone to enough. So, all right, let's take a look at this call from Kelly. We're going to look at discovery. Kelly?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to swallow it wrong. Yeah, because I went through all the objections and doors and stuff like that. And then at the end of the call, oh my God, the excuses. Just like she was just making stuff up. I'll be nice. Yeah. It was just like, I was like, what? What? And that happens a lot. I get a lot of scheduling conflicts, even though I asked them that in the beginning of the call. I tell them the time commitment. I go through that, but I'm getting a lot of schedule. Oh, well, my kid has 5 million activities for like 8 hours a day, and I'm getting that a lot.
Are you asking that in discovery?
And they're like, yeah, we can make that work. Yeah.
Okay,
and then at the end, it comes up.
I would call them out on that then at the end and just say, okay, that's the kind of thing I would say, okay, appreciate you saying that. But I know like about 20 minutes ago or so, you said that those days would work for you. What's changed since then? And then be quite direct on something like that.
Okay. I should say, so what's changed for you? I don't say that, but I do call them out on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's changed since then? Like, I mean, or is something else coming up that what's really coming up for you? That's good.
Okay. So okay.
Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book and it shares with you the exact 5 steps that I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments and go and pick up your copy today.
So what do you want me to look at then? Do you want me to look at the discovery in this call?
Probably. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about that. So obviously something went wrong there. I don't know. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
what you're looking for, what you want out of this, and as well as for me to outline what I do in detail and how it would help your son and what that would look like moving forward. So if that sounds good to you, we can go ahead and get started.
Okay, nice pre-frame off the bat, looking good on camera, everything else. Always keep back a little bit of selectivity.
Okay.
Right? I want to get to know you and your situation, and then I can kind of, if it seems like we're a good fit, like I can run you through what we can do and how we help students, and might even be able to extend the invite for you to work with us as well.
Okay.
Right, so there's that. I'm not going to commit in the first 10 seconds of speaking to someone that I'm definitely going to extend an offer to them.
Okay.
Okay, I want them to lean in to want to, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay, great. So yesterday you mentioned a couple things.
Because not only do I want them to lean in to say they're going to want it, but I also want them to be at ease thinking that well, there may not be a decision that has to be made right now. So it just kind of eased into, it's like this is no pressure call. I literally want to get to know you and kind of help you. Okay. But let's continue. Let's take a look at this discovery then.
So I asked you in particular, what had you reaching out for support? What kind of prompted that? And you mentioned that your son, doesn't like to read, and that, that there was some inferencing, kind of some comprehension issues and gaps that maybe you're seeing. So if we can kind of talk about that a little bit, like, what do you feel he struggles with the most, and how that affects him, and kind of what that situation is?
So he reads pretty good. His spelling, there's no spelling issues with him. But the thing is that I don't understand his comprehension level. He cannot think beyond what's, mentioned in the comprehension in the text. So basically inferring to it and seeing what are the main points, what the reader is trying to say, and, the questions asked. And then his response questions are also very, very short and simple. There's not a lot of elaboration in writing. He'll just write short, simple answers, 2 or 3 words answers, and just get on with the next one. So as I mentioned earlier, that he was an IEP, he had speech delay. That when I am so sorry about the system, but I feel the IEP does not really help. It rather brings the child a bit more back than going forward, because it becomes very slow. Instead of pushing the child ahead, they don't do that. That's what I feel. I don't know why the system is like this. And I guess a lot of competition is going on a lot, because I think every other parent is opting for tutoring. I never believed in tutoring myself. I never got tutored. I did everything myself solely. Back home, we didn't have that concept of, getting tutored. We were all by ourselves. Whatever we required, we took the teacher's help in school. And that's what I believe. But then now I'm at a place where I feel that I regret that getting outside help would have been better for him, because once people in school hear
That was a big word that she just used. You catch that one?
I don't know which word you're talking about in particular. She regrets. I regret not getting him help.
Okay, life's so short. We don't want to have regrets.
Yeah.
So what's changed now? Right? That is crucial piece of information, right? Where in that one word that she said that.
They just push him back. They just take him back. They don't work as, and they don't involve him with the regular students initially, because they think that his comprehension level, pushing the child a bit more. While he was doing other stuff, his regular school classmates were making sentences, were building on vocabulary, were, taking words from the text and then finding the meanings out. I have never seen him doing that. I've never seen him practicing any sentence writing. So I don't see any development of sentencing writing. He does. He's okay now at this level because he's in 8th grade, but still I feel like he lacks the ability to write and comprehend and analysis and infer, and those are the main building grounds, foundation of learning and writing. And especially in 8th grade, he has come across challenges in social studies where they require to write essays over here. And he's pretty good in social studies, but then he lacks the writing abilities where it is very difficult for him to write anything. For me, my small argument with my kid is that when you're writing a note to someone, you're just writing a card to someone, you're supposed to make sure that you're writing it with full grammatical, with full good grammar and full flow. You don't write anything casually. You learn English to read and write so that you can use this in your normal lives as well. So
one thing I'm just kind of thinking here, Kelly, as well. This lady is obviously a talker. She wants to kind of share a lot. Okay, which is kind of nice, but she's only sharing surface level stuff. Like that one thing she said a couple of times, she said she feels about something, but I feel they're taking their time helping him. Or I feel that they're holding him back, right? The only kind of real emotive thing was that word she said, regret. And you were doing a nice job of listening, being very very patient and letting her talk. The thing that I'm thinking is that we maybe want to be able to just jump in occasionally, right? There's a few, because I think as social creatures in conversations, we tend to try and fill the silence, which is why having a silence or using a silence can be very powerful in discovery. If I asked you a question that I want you to give me more information on, one of the things I can do is just not respond, and you're going to expand on that.
Well, Rob, I find that happens in my calls a lot. I try to do 20% of the talking in the beginning. I'm trying to listen. I get a lot of surfacey stuff because I get a lot of parents whose kids are not really struggling. I mean, they're not failing. There's all that. They just want them to do better. So I'm listening for something real. But I do have a lot of parents that talk very surfacey. I try to talk 20% of the time
Well,
and let her blab for this amount of time. And then,
but
I said some things.
yeah, like having that ratio, 80-20 ratio of kind of talking to listening, great. But if we're just listening to surface level stuff for half an hour, it's not helping.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. You're right. Not at all. And that's the problem.
So that's the next step then, is to be able to just steer into a direction with just one skill question. Like when you said you regret, right? Why is that?
Okay.
Right. But just being able to just jump in from time to time. And so, yeah, not every time. Sometimes we want to let them speak, but like where she's given, there's some spaces that come in, and what you're kind of saying is that, as in, I'm listening. Whereas if you're ready with a question at that point, it would be perfectly fine. Like she wouldn't want to continue talking because you've then taken the role of the speaker in the conversation. Okay, and I think that could help you kind of just speed some of these up. But
It is that I don't have to do that. I'm just at home. You're my parents or he's my friend, so I can write any way I want. And I said, no, you need to practice that daily in your normal lives as well. Just as we practice some things, this is like, you have to engrave it in yourself. Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the main basic foundation I want him to build before he goes to higher, like senior years and stuff like that. He has to start working on his SATs and
yeah, you can just start saying, yeah, got it, right? Things like
I wanted to so bad.
Yeah.
Talking.
But in a kind of nice way, right? But it's like, yeah, okay,
yeah.
got it, okay. And these kind of back channeling, I don't know what the words and things, they're signaling that you're about to speak, right? So, okay, that makes sense, got it. And okay, yeah, right. So if you were to find a way then and then you can kind of open up that pathway.
Grammar skills and stuff like that, and this definitely plays a big role in his school in the longer run. When he goes to an undergrad school, and he would need to use a lot of it. Me being myself, I suffered a lot myself. I went to school here, I finished my degree here, I had to really work, so yeah. I want him, I hope you got my point, what I mean. I want him to improve in his writing skills and reading skills and comprehension level as well.
Yes, I do understand that. Reading and writing should be taught together. They should never be taught separately, right? And a lot of reading teachers don't know how to teach writing. It's a process. There's a formula. There's a certain way to do it that sets them up for success, no matter what they're writing, no matter what class it's for, what the purpose of the writing is. There are do's and don'ts when it comes to writing. So, and they have to know.
He never learned, it's like I've seen people teaching them, just write a simple sentence, and then how do you make it?
Yeah. So at that point, well, we've got surface level. We now need to go the next level. So how is this affecting him?
It more, precise and, sounded more worthy enough to read, where do you put at?
And then you could oh, he's fine with it, she might say. Okay, he might be fine with it, but I know you mentioned earlier that you regretted not getting him some support sooner. How has that been for you, seeing him not being able to progress the way you'd like?
Adjectives, verbs, how to use other words, add prepositions to along, and to make a nice sentence, and like a story writing sentence, you begin the story writing this. Until I came up having trouble with the young.
Yeah, everything is so competitive now that getting the job done for most students just in a 90-minute classroom every day is not enough. They don't get feedback, they don't get enough instruction. It's requiring more than just them going to school.
He is still having assistants in some of the courses like English. And that's what I'm sad about it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because those support systems are put in place so that they don't fall behind. They are not necessarily designed to push them forward or to challenge them. They're more of a safety net. And that's unfortunate because as parents, we're not looking for safety nets, we're looking for growth. We're looking for them to be challenged, for them to progress And a lot of time, I worked in that system for a really, really long time. And I actually have a special ed, I'm also a special ed teacher, and I did that for years. I taught honors, I taught everything. And it is true. I mean, the education system, of course, we could talk for a long time about that. And, there's some really good teachers out there that are doing everything they can. And then unfortunately, there are systems in place that really do not benefit students. And that's why tutoring, I guess, or outside support.
But
or whatever
honestly
you wanna
speaking,
call
not
this,
everyone can
popular.
afford that. Not everyone can afford that.
No,
Even
you're
if
right.
It is expensive. Everything is expensive. Even eating out one time is also expensive. Honestly
It
speaking,
is.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't lie. And
There's a financial red flag right there as well. So it's kind of seems to be, turning into like a nice conversation, right? And
Mhm.
she's kind
Yep.
of moaned about the school a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we're just throwing rocks at the school. And then she's like in agreement. She's like, yeah, and everything else. At that point there, she said everything's expensive. That's the opportunity then to qualify as well.
She didn't even have a money conversation. I don't get that too often. It was a scheduling. She had all kinds of excuses.
Sometimes
But that, yeah,
it's
you're right.
money, all kinds of excuses come out as well. Which is
Mhm.
why at this point it comes up. Everything's well, look, I mean, it sounds like, you said you've seen your friends are all getting tutoring, everyone's getting tutoring these days, and you know that it's the time for you to be able to get that additional support for your son. Like, I'm curious, like what have you actually got set aside? What kind of budget could you put towards tutoring, given that you just mentioned like it's expensive? I want to make sure that there's something we can get you pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna
Yeah, it was a nice little conversation, but that's not what I'm here to do. And I find that happens a lot. That's a pattern. Too much talking, them talking about surfacey things, and then I have to cut it, and I try to dig in there, and so yeah, too much talking about surface stuff, all the surface stuff. Yeah, tests, testing,
So your
that kind of stuff.
first question, fine. They start talking about that. Whenever they give you that answer, then you steer it. Got it. So it sounds like he's been really struggling. Like, how's that affecting him outside of school, right? Rather than kind of necessarily going into the conversation about the school system not doing well enough or XYZ.
Yeah.
We just steer it to where we want to get the conversation to go.
Yeah.
And then, he's been getting in fights and all sorts. Wow, and how long has that been going on? Now we've got a much better, deeper level conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Rob. I have to leave to take a
pleasure.
call.
All right.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. Appreciate you.
Okay, thanks for submitting.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. What's up, Joseph? How's it going? So you got a call submitted. So how you doing? Sorry that we've kind of overrun a little bit, but how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I've been getting a lot of book calls and just so many people rescheduling. I think in the last week I probably booked in like 11 calls and 10 of them rescheduled. It was so demoralizing. And like I literally am, and the one call that I have, which is today, and she hasn't responded to like any of my confirmations. It's just been really annoying. And then the one call that I did have, I sent to you because it was very tough. It's a tough call.
Okay. I understand it's frustrating when they get reschedules, but it's better than a no-show, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is it's some kind of silver lining there, maybe. All right. So what was the?
Yeah, so I had this call with this woman she did not let me get through discovery. She was really like kind of aggressive and she just kind of wanted to, I don't know, was like picking up on the bull or like was trying to, and was just like essentially just being like, all right, I get it. Like, what's the price? What's this? She just like was really being really pushy on that. And she really wouldn't let me get the discovery done and really didn't allow me to figure everything out with, where her son was at. And then I had the price objection at the end of it, and she didn't even allow me to like deal with the price objection the way that I've done it before. She was just like, yeah, I'll talk to my husband about this, but this is a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. She was just kind of being a little mean. Like, honestly, she was just being a lot meaner than I'm used to. And so it was, I don't know, I sent it to you.
Okay.
Maybe I could have done something better in the discovery. She kind of took over the conversation, and I wanted to see what I could have done to, take control.
All right. Yeah. Let's take a look. So typically, kind of leaning out is a good move. Maybe this isn't the right path, sort of vibe, but also acknowledging them. Like, I appreciate you want to figure out everything, but for me, honestly, I just need to know a bit more about you so that I can put a plan in place. Right. So I appreciate you want to get there, but before we do that, we're going to need to do this. Right. So kind of recognizing where they're coming from and then acknowledging it, but then steering it back to where you want it to be as well. So,
Hi, Ashley, how
This
are
meeting
you?
is being recorded.
Well, how are you guys? Where are you guys located again? Remind me.
Alpharetta, Georgia.
Alpharetta, Georgia. All right, so I'm just below you guys.
Oh, you're in Florida.
I'm in Florida, yeah.
Cool.
I'm in Florida. And so, Ashton, you're in ninth grade, correct?
Yeah.
You're ninth grade. Perfect. Okay. Well, guys, just so you know, I've worked with hundreds of students now, and I've been on a lot of these calls before. And typically, what I found that works best is if we just start to get a clear picture of where Ashton is at and how I can help from there. And then from there, do you have a paper and a pencil with you guys? As you know, one
Nice
of my
pre-frame.
students who I work more closely with.
Nice pre-frame, by the way. I just wanted to kind of skip ahead just a little bit. Conscious of the time that we've got.
Just to kind of get a better picture of where you are, Ashton. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So the first question, is just for Mom. When it comes to algebra specifically, what specifically is Ashton struggling with? And Ashton, you can kind of jump in.
This is a question for Ashton. Only he knows
I thought that when you asked the question, I thought surely that's a question for the kid.
with
Ashton.
Yes.
Tell me, what are you struggling with?
Let's go to real quick. It's called quadratic functions.
Quadratic functions. Okay, so you're on quadratic functions right now, and you're struggling with that right now?
Yeah.
Have you been struggling in math class previously, or is it just right now with quadratic functions that's really giving you a hard time?
Basically, this pretty much it. Hold on, because you wouldn't have a 64 right now if it was just this unit, correct?
I'm talking about this right here.
No, you see what the question is, Joe? He would not have a 64 if he was just struggling in one unit, correct?
Listen, buddy.
That's why I want to step
am-
out so you can talk to him personally.
No, stay, because I'm going to ask kind of both of you guys some questions.
Okay.
And I want to get a good idea, and I really just kind of like having the entire family here, getting support for Ashton here. But Ashton, listen, I'm the one person you don't have to like keep things from, like I'm the guy that's helping you.
Yeah.
I'm literally the guy that's going to fix
I love your energy. Amazing.
your problem.
Very nice.
Exactly.
So, and when you tell me that you're struggling with quadratic formulas and quadratics in general, okay, what I'm hearing is there's something that you just didn't understand in one of the previous units that isn't allowing you to apply the knowledge correctly when you're talking about quadratics.
Yeah, she said this is brand new. So
who said that it was brand new, Ashton?
my teacher, she said we
Listen.
had never seen it before.
Listen, Ashton, algebra, it's all stacking. Everything stacks on top of each other, okay? All the information that you have learned in your previous units is allowing you to now start to do quadratics, okay? So if you don't understand something on that foundations, you're going to struggle with the quadratics, okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask you kind of this a little bit. Again, have you kind of been struggling in algebra throughout the year a little bit, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit, okay. And Ashton, I'm assuming that this is something that's a priority to you to kind of get straight and fixed, correct?
Yes.
Mom, is this a priority to you to kind of
Absolutely, because he had issues with school, he's always gotten good grades, and here's high school, which is different.
Absolutely.
And he is struggling and behind, and it hurts me to see that. So I know how I was in school. I didn't like math. I ran from it. I want to be confident and able to handle this no matter what grade he's in and no matter what major he goes to in college. I want him to be able to have this confidence that's going to carry him throughout college.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. You're just kind of like, you're spewing my mantra, back at me. Algebra, it's the language of mathematics, Ashton. And what you're doing right now is actually 80% of all of the STEM that you're going to be doing the rest of your high school. So suppose, Ashton, suppose we found the perfect solution for you.
Right. Okay. So a couple of things. Well done. Something in the call, like great energy on the call. Obviously, you wanted to ask about how to handle the kind of the pushy mum, so to speak, right? Whatever, right?
Yeah, I don't think you got, I sent I think on minute 8 or something like that. She was just, I asked one of the questions. She was like, yeah. Okay, Joe, come on, cut the crap. What's all this? That's what she said. And I was like,
However, right, before we got there, we have deviated from the script, just saying, right? So we got the problem is that we figured out that he's got problem with previous foundations for maths, right? We didn't get the emotive problem, the emotion attached to it, right? Which I don't think you would have got from him, but he did get it from the mum. She says it's hard for me to see him going through this. Yeah, how do you mean? How do you mean is a great question, right? And she will expand on that. That was the emotive part. And how long have you felt like this? You then turn that conversation to her, give her the attention. How long have you felt like this? Was there something specifically you realized that this enough was enough? Was this latest grade paper that he's just taken home? Was just his latest score 64? He's just brought home. Was that there at the moment, or was this something else? Something else? Or no, it was this. Either way, we're then back onto that framework. All right. Then we can ask, so is this a priority for you to fix right now? Got it. Yeah. I unfortunately don't have the time to kind of go through I can take a look at it for you as well though, but just looking at that first bit, if you'd have, essentially just kind of steered back to mum where she started to open up to you and saw that moment where she was like, oh, it just pains me to see him like this. That was your conversational path.
So you're looking for like any in essentially on these sales calls when anyone says anything emotional, essentially. You're looking to pick up on anything like that.
Well, yeah, you've got two very closely emotionally linked people in front of you, a parent and a child, right? So if you can get the emotion out of one of them, you'll see it in the other, or vice versa, right? And so the idea is, with the framework laid out in GLO 4.0, we want to go surface level problem. This kid can't do algebra, right? So it's actually, the problem is that the foundational maths, right? Okay, got it. Well, how is that affecting you? Mum, it pains me to see him like this. How long have you felt like that? How long's that been a problem for you? Oh, whatever she says then, 2 years. That must be tough. It must be tough. Like, was there a particular time when you felt like this was enough and you had to sort this out and get help? Yeah, when he brought this paper home. And yep, so we've got the 4 parts of that problem. Once we've got that sets you up. Sets you up then. Okay. So it's not like the emotion can come from the parent or the student, and you might find one starts opening up to you.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the coaching session. Now, if you would like to get our help to start enrolling more students predictably and increase your close rate and start charging more, here's what you need to do. Click the link down below this video, head to our site, book in a call, and we'll break down exactly how we can help you expand your online tutoring business, enroll more students more predictably, and increase your rate so you can grow faster. Use the link down below. We'll see you on the call.